The seventh-day Sabbath is in the news. President Donald Trump just endorsed it. So how is the Adventist world responding to the government endorsing the right day? Well, they are buzzing. I've been watching their responses to the news, and I want to show you something.
Trump urges U.S. Jews to observe National Sabbath in honor of 250th U.S. anniversary. Friends, this is breaking news. Bible prophecy is taking place right before our eyes.
And then, watch this.
On May the 4th, the President of the United States signed a proclamation calling Americans to observe a national Sabbath. This is not the mark of the beast, yet.
Two responses, excitement and caution. Both sincere, both watching the same news. They are right about some things, and they are missing the same thing. The same government already officially recognized something else, something that nobody in the Sabbath-keeping world has noticed. Today, we're going to look at both documents, and we're going to ask the questions that nobody else is asking. I'm Nader Mansour, and it's time to prove all things. Let's start with the facts, because before we do any analysis, we need to know exactly what we're dealing with. On May 4th, President Donald Trump signed the Jewish American Heritage Month proclamation. It states, Jewish Americans are encouraged to observe a national Sabbath from sundown on May 15 to nightfall on May 16. Friends, families, and communities of all backgrounds may come together in gratitude for our great nation. The seventh-day Sabbath, named in an official White House proclamation for the first time in American history. And here's the next paragraph, the one most coverage missed. I further call on all Americans to celebrate their faith and freedom throughout this year, during this month, and especially on Shabbat, to celebrate our 250th year. All Americans are invited to celebrate on this national Saturday Sabbath, from sundown to nightfall, not Sunday, but the seventh-day Sabbath. For over 100 years, Seventh-day Adventists have been the most vocal voices in Christianity warning about a coming Sunday law. What we have instead is a Sabbath endorsement. Now, as others have correctly noted, this isn't Revelation 13. There is no enforcement here, there's no buy or sell restriction, no compulsion. All that is pretty clear. So why do Sabbath keepers seem to be panicking? Because they are making predictions while looking in the wrong direction. The main prophetic prediction being made is this. Christian nationalists will say, you gave Jews a Sabbath, what about us? And they will push for a Sunday proclamation, maybe even a Sunday law.
So ask yourself this, what do you think they're trying to do? They're going to ask for their day next. They're going to say, Mr. President, if Jewish Americans get a national Shabbat, where is the National Lord's Day for the rest of us?
Could that happen? Sure, it could. I'm not dismissing that. But watch what happens when you follow that logic all the way through. The moment you open a "what about us" door, everyone walks through it. It's not a one-way door, it's a revolving door. And in the current political climate, think about who actually holds the most influence. Is it religious organizations sending letters to Washington? Or the observant, Sabbath-keeping Orthodox Jews who sit at the president's own family table? I'll let you answer that one for yourself. For 150 years, Adventists have been preparing to suffer for the Sabbath, to lose jobs, to stand alone against the state. This month, the President of the United States told every American to keep it. We prepared to suffer, we got a proclamation. But here's the thing. Even if this results in a Sunday law, the core issue is still the same, and it's not being addressed by Sabbath keepers today. It's the most important question. A Sunday law tells you which day the government is pushing. It does not tell you which God you are worshipping. This is the issue almost everyone is ignoring. Here is a question that nobody in this conversation is asking. What is the Sabbath actually for? Not politically, not prophetically, but fundamentally. What is it pointing to? And who does it belong to? The fourth commandment answers it directly. Any Sabbath keeper would know this. Exodus 20 tells us, The seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. And why? For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. The Sabbath belongs to the Lord. That's Jehovah. It points to its maker. So who is the Lord Jehovah? That's one individual, one person. Psalm 83:18 identifies him clearly, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Jehovah, art the most high over all the earth. And Jesus himself confirms it in John 17:3. And this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom thou hast sent. The only true God, the Most High. Jehovah, the Father, one God. Not a committee, not a mystery. A person. You can't worship on the Sabbath while ignoring the identity of the God who made it. After all, we don't worship the Sabbath, we worship the God of the Sabbath. Ellen White put it this way. The seventh-day Sabbath points to Jehovah as the personal, all-powerful God, the creator of the world. The Sabbath is a sign, and signs point to something. This sign points to someone, Jehovah, the personal, all-powerful creator. Now here's the question I want you to ponder carefully. Is Jehovah a Trinity? The Bible evidence is clear. Jehovah is not a triunity or a Trinity. You cannot preach the Sabbath without the God of the Sabbath. The Sabbath without Jehovah is a road sign with no destination behind it.
There is a movement in the country called Christian nationalism. They believe America is a Christian nation and that our laws should reflect Christian values, and that the government should formally recognize Christianity as the foundation of the country.
The government has already recognized something, and the Christianity they are recognizing has a specific God. Let Rome tell us who that is. The mystery of the Most Holy Trinity is the central mystery of Christian faith and life. It is the mystery of God in Himself. It is therefore the source of all the other mysteries of faith, the light that enlightens them. It is the most fundamental and essential teaching in the hierarchy of the truths of faith. The Catholic Church, in its own catechism, calls the Trinity the central mystery of Christian faith. Not a side doctrine, the central one, the most important one. This is Rome's God. More important than Sunday. As a matter of fact, Sunday keeping is directly linked with their Trinity God. Notice.
As I used to tell my students, every Sunday is Trinity Sunday. The Trinity names what is most fundamental in our understanding of God and our understanding of salvation. So I think we shouldn't run away from it. We should enter into the mystery of the Trinity.
This is not an isolated view. This is the official position of Rome. Sunday, therefore, is the day of the most holy Trinity. So while the Sabbath points to the one true God, Sunday points to the Trinity God. The Trinity is Rome's God, and since 1980, it is also the official God of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Here's fundamental belief number 2. The Trinity. There is one God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, a unity of 3 co-eternal persons. That's the same formulation as the Council of Nicaea, the same God as Rome. And here is the startling thing. The Adventist Church admits that the Trinity God wasn't always our God. Something changed over the years. Here is the editor of the Adventist Review. Some Adventists today think that our beliefs have remained unchanged over the years. The Trinitarian understanding of God, now part of our fundamental beliefs, was not generally held by the early Adventists. That's the exact same God as Rome. So now we have a problem. The Sabbath, the sign God calls us to keep, points to Jehovah, the one true God, the Father. But the Church is now worshiping the Trinity, Rome's God, the God of Sunday. And that is what almost nobody is warning you about. And we are going to come back to exactly how it got in, because it involves someone that you might not expect. But first, something from this same White House. 7 weeks before the Sabbath proclamation, most people missed it. Did you know that the government has already officially referenced the Trinity God of Sunday? Probably not, because almost nobody is talking about it. Here it is. Presidential message on Irish American Heritage Month. Tradition holds that Saint Patrick taught the mystery of the Holy Trinity to pagans using the three-leaved shamrock, setting untold hearts on fire for Christ. The same White House, an official presidential message praising Saint Patrick for spreading the mystery of the Holy Trinity to pagans. The same thing was also done last year on Saint Patrick's Day. Saint Patrick used the three-leaved shamrock to explain the mystery of the Holy Trinity to Irish unbelievers. You cannot make this up. It's all right there on the White House website. The Sabbath got a proclamation, formal, signed, official. The Trinity got a statement, less formal, still official. Neither one is law. I guess the Jewish Americans are more influential than the Irish Americans. One document endorses the Sabbath, the other praises the spread of the Trinity. The Sabbath proclamation, everybody's talking about that one. But the Trinity statements, silence. And that silence tells you everything about where the focus has been. The Sabbath endorsement has everyone predicting the Sunday law may be coming very soon. But guess what? The wrong God? Well, that's already here. While people are busy predicting the next political sequence. That Christian nationalism will demand formal government recognition of certain doctrines. Notice the pattern. When the government speaks about Christian faith, which doctrine do they highlight? The Trinity. Not once, repeatedly, consistently. Do you see what is happening here? There are Sabbath keepers today, many of them, who are worshiping the Trinity God of Sunday. Are you one of them? Because the day question is not the vital question here. The real question is, who do you worship? And that is far more important than when. And people get so obsessed with the day that when the government endorses the right day, instead of asking, do we actually know the God this day is pointing to, we have to spin it into a Sunday panic because it breaks our prophetic charts. So here is my question, not a political question, an eternal life question. Are you worshiping Jehovah, the God of the Sabbath, or the Trinity, the God of Sunday? Let me show you exactly how deep this goes. Listen to this.
How did we get into this Sunday mess to begin with? Did it not happen during the time of Emperor Constantine?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't the Greek Orthodox Church, the leaders of the church, just say that Trump is the new Constantine just less than a year ago?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how was this wool pulled over the eyes of Christians then to falsely believe that Sunday was the Lord's Day?
This is a very relevant question, and it deserves a good answer. Last year, the Greek Archbishop stood beside President Trump at the White House and said, "You remind me of the great Roman Emperor Constantine the Great." So what did Constantine actually bring? Because most people only know half the story. Constantine did not just give the world the first Sunday law. In 325 AD, he convened the Council of Nicaea, one of the most consequential church councils in history. He presided over it. He bankrolled it. And the central decision of that council? The doctrine of the Trinity. Constantine is the political architect of both Sunday and the Trinity. They came as a package. Remember what the great controversy said about Constantine. His nominal conversion resulted in paganism entering into the church. Paganism, while appearing to be vanquished, became the conqueror. Her doctrines were incorporated into the faith and worship of the church. And that's what everyone reacting to this news has missed entirely. Constantine, Sunday, and the Trinity. And just like Constantine, Trump's White House issued statements recognizing the Trinity. And then there is this. This is Jonathan Berry. He serves as the Chief Legal Officer at the U.S. Department of Labor, overseeing the enforcement of federal labor laws. He wants to revive the Sunday blue laws. Listen to his admission and inspiration.
I think this is more a question of state and local law, is reinvigorating, where possible, Sabbath rest laws. Really literally dating back to Constantine and his recognition of Christianity in the Roman Empire, that you've had a pretty consistent tradition in Western civilization of of taking Sunday off from commerce, and having a time not only for, it's not merely from rest in the sense of abstinence from work, but it's rest for time with God, time worshiping God.
Constantine is his model for Sunday rest legislation. And even he recognizes clearly that a Sunday law is really all about worshiping God. Rome already told us exactly which God that is. They're all talking about the same God, the God of Sunday, the Trinity. If you are afraid of a new Constantine, consider this. The devil does not need a new Constantine to force you to keep Sunday. The Seventh-day Adventist Church has already voluntarily accepted Constantine's God. The wrong God came first. The wrong day is still being anticipated. The package came together in the 4th century. History, brothers and sisters, is repeating. There is a consistent pattern in the reaction to this Sabbath proclamation from the White House, and I want you to see it clearly.
And now, in May of 2026, the official record of the United States government contains a sentence calling all Americans to celebrate their faith on the seventh-day Sabbath.
In like manner, the Trinity statements are now in the official White House record. It was there before the Sabbath. The question is not whether the Sabbath is now in the government record. The question is, who is it pointing to?
So whether the president proclaims it or a future president bans it, our duty is exactly the same. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, the seventh day, because the Lord said so, period. That is the only reason that holds up when pressure comes.
The Lord said so. I agree completely. The Lord said so. This is the only reason that holds up. Which Lord? Which Lord do you worship? Is it the one true God of the Bible, Jehovah, the Most High? That's who the Sabbath points to. Or is it the Trinity God of Rome? That's the God of Sunday. Because you cannot say, the Lord said so, without answering, which Lord?
The trap is keeping the Sabbath because the president said so. But that's not commandment keeping. That's partisanship in religious clothing. That is the seventh-day Sabbath used as a political weapon. And friend, God is not honored by that.
This only goes halfway. It's absolutely right that keeping the right day for the wrong reason is a trap. Political Sabbath keeping is not commandment keeping. But there is a trap one level deeper. Keeping the right day while worshiping the wrong God. And that trap was already sprung long before Trump signed anything. The Sabbath is a sign. Signs point to someone. The president gave a proclamation about the sign. That changes nothing about the true destination. And the destination has a name. It's Jehovah, the living and true God.
And this is a great opportunity to get people while it's in front of them to continue on in the interest and learn that what the true Sabbath is, right? This is our job to do. This is the one you just need to keep on keeping.
Keep on keeping it. Friends, keep on keeping it for who? Pointing to whom? The seal belongs to the living God, the Father, as Revelation 7:2 tells us. And the 144,000 have His name in their foreheads. Not just the day, His name, His identity. And the Jewish nation had that sign. They had it for centuries. They guarded the Sabbath so fiercely, they took the Son of God Himself to court for what they thought was Sabbath breaking. The Lord of the Sabbath condemned by Sabbath keepers. And when Rome surrounded Jerusalem, the sign did not save them, because they had lost the God the sign pointed to. Something had changed along the way for them. They still kept the Sabbath, but they no longer had the God of the Sabbath. Now let me ask you something about our own house. In 1980, at the General Conference session in Dallas, the Seventh-day Adventist Church formally adopted the doctrine of the Trinity for the first time in the church's history. God had led the pioneers, and He had led them away from the Trinity. The pioneers knew the Father, the living and true God, and His only begotten Son. But that theology changed. We changed gods. We voted a new God in. Just let that sink into your mind for a minute. And our historians admit it. Just like the Jewish nation, many are firmly holding onto the Sabbath sign, but another God has come in, and most are blind to this radical and startling change. Most Seventh-day Adventists are standing and looking, thinking that the danger will come from that direction. I have news for you. The danger is already here. It has overtaken us from behind. It's already within. So let me bring this home. The government endorsed the Sabbath, and the same administration also recognized the Trinity doctrine in 2 successive years. Why focus on the one and not the other? If J.D. Vance becomes the next president, there will be a Roman Catholic president in the White House. We already saw what Rome says about Sunday and the Trinity. So yes, the prophetic agenda is on track. It has to do with who you worship. Don't get distracted by the secondary issue of which day is being endorsed or enforced, when the real question is, which God are you worshiping? But I want to leave you with something that goes even deeper than that, because this video has only taken you part of the way. You see, Revelation 13 does not just speak of the mark of the beast. It speaks of 3 things: the mark, the name, and the number of the beast. Most teaching focuses entirely on the mark, but the name and the number, what are those? And why does almost no one talk about them? And here is the question that I think will stay with you. Consider this. Based on everything the Bible actually says, is it possible for someone who faithfully keeps the 7th-day Sabbath to receive the mark of the beast? The biblical answer might surprise you. It surprised me, and it will change how you read Revelation 13 forever. That is exactly what I cover in the full study linked right here. Do yourself a favor and watch it. It'll change how you understand everything that we discussed today. Till next time, remember to prove all things and hold fast that which is good.